What's going on, guys? This is Jimmy.
Hey, it's Rachel.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on Relationship Real Talk. We are excited about today.
Yes, we are.
And look, we want you guys to do what you normally do. Share this post with your friends and family. And we want you all to come on in the living room and join this conversation.
Come on in the living room where we have the mics. I still can't get used to these mics.
Well, you might as well, because they cheaper.
They're cheaper than
buying batteries.
Yes.
I mean,
it just doesn't give most people don't just have mics.
Well, we're not most people, baby. We have been called and anointed to do other things.
Yes, all right. Yes, praise the Lord. I see Angela Ruffin is on here. You know,
Angela.
I'm not gonna get it wrong this time. She was the first one on.
Well, look, let me just say this to Angela. Angela, our T-shirt is back up, so I will mail yours out tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will have that thing mailed out to you first thing tomorrow. So thank you so much for your support, Angela. And again,
it's so good to know you're a man of your word.
Look, I try to be, but this is episode 4 of our 10 episode series of Real Marriage, Real Talk. Real marriage, girl. Quit trying to put S's on it.
Hold up now. I could have sworn that the word marriage, we can make it plural.
No,
because there's
in the
more
English
than one
language
marriage out here.
Yeah, in the English language, yeah.
We're still, guys, this just go to show you we don't always agree on everything. He wants to make it singular. I want to make it plural because I want to be inclusive. With that being said, as you guys are joining us, feel free to share. Sometimes you might be talking about things with your friends and relationship stuff. They might want to be a part of this conversation and come on in the living room with you. You guys are good at commenting, so I don't even have to tell you that. And be sure to, send us love every now and then, especially when you feel like he's grabbing the back of my shirt and he's getting ready to throw me right up under that bus. Y'all go ahead and send me some love. But we also want you to rep your city. I know we ask you every week, but we always want to know where you're coming from, where you listen to us from. Hey, Carla, what's going on? Hey, Dion. So good you guys could join us today. Our topic today, we are going to talk about real marriage, real talk. But this real talk is going to have to do with some hot button questions. We're discussing hot button questions that a lot of couples face and struggle to find solutions. And here's what's interesting. And when we say couples, doesn't mean that people who are not married don't face them. But a lot of times when you are married, there are those traditional questions that you ask one another, like, how many children do you want to have? Honey, you come up with a question that traditionally...
I know, what's your favorite color?
That's boring. No, how about, like, what kind of things do you like to do? And do you like to travel? And, what church do you attend? And what's your religion? And those are...
What are your feelings about family?
What are your feelings about family? Yeah. All those feelings. And then you get married and some real stuff comes up, day in, day out stuff that you had no idea would really be an issue because everything was just fine. You had been doing what you do before. So we're going to discuss these questions and give the true reason why we feel that they are still on the minds and hearts of so many people in relationships. And we're going to do something different today. We already know that many of y'all come on in the living room with us and you put in your comments. But today, we're going to give you an opportunity to go live with us.
Oh, yeah.
So you get to share your thoughts. We get to see you, interact with you.
And not only us, but the
everybody
rest of
else will see you. I'm glad you did say that. So you will have an opportunity not just share your thoughts through chat, but all you have to do is put in the comments, let me in. Yeah. Or I want to come on in the living room.
Look, yeah.
You like that?
I like
let me in.
Let me in.
Let me in.
You're
like
so stupid.
Open that door. Let me in. Especially when you feel that thing in your shana, like old boy says on the Atlanta radio station. So yes, you'll put let me in, or I want to join the live, or however you want to put it. And we will send you the link in Facebook Messenger. So your Facebook Messenger needs to be downloaded.
Yes.
All right. I think we have it. If anybody needs any clarity, you can ask me to repeat. What's going on, La Trishelle? Thank you so much.
That was very nice of you. Hello, La Trishelle. She's from Monroe, Louisiana.
Let me tell you,
I need not ask any more about her.
Ever since Pastor Mitchell came up in this piece, you know, he has come in tow. He has come with his people, and they are faithful. What's going on, Keisha? Nothing but love for you, girl. Miss seeing you guys. Hopefully, we can see each other really, really soon. All right. So, y'all ready for this hot button? The first hot button question. So, here's how we like to do this. We really want to hear from you before we give our commentary. Because it's kind of cheating. Not that, you know, we have the final word per se, but we want to hear from you guys before, you know, we say our piece. So the first question is, can you still be friends with the opposite sex? So once you get married, is it okay to still be friends with the opposite sex? So we'll put that out there. And then once it gets real spicy, I'm going to add an addendum to it. You know what I'm going to add to it, right? Our number 5.
I'm sure.
I'll add that to it. But right now, I need everybody out there to answer that question. Can you still be friends? Now, you're going to put yes or no. You can explain on the chat and we'll talk about it. Or you can say, let me in, and we'll let you in to talk to us. All right. So can you be friends with the opposite sex once you've gotten married?
Right. That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Actually, it's a question that people really do have challenges with. And I won't say all couples, but a good number of couples struggle with this
topic. And what's interesting is, you know, because we go over the basic outline of what we're going to do today, but we don't always have, you know, in-depth conversations about every single thing. But one thing I did mention to him was that was so not a question that came up for us before we got married.
And as I told you when we kind of mentioned it, no, I didn't ask the question, or you didn't ask the question like that. I asked it in different ways to get my answer. You know, because I was trying to find out were you still communicating with your old exes and stuff like that.
You were being stalker / detective.
No, I was being detective /
investigator.
Yes, that's what I was being.
Because I'm just going to put all those together because
stalker. What?
I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't just ask me the question.
Well, I did ask you the question.
You asked me, are you still friends with the opposite
I just
sex?
said I did not use those words.
What you said?
I said, Rachel, when was your last boyfriend? How, you know, all that good stuff. And then I asked her, y'all still communicate? You still talk to your boyfriend?
But we weren't even dating then. That was when we were in the stalking stage.
Whoa.
And let me tell y'all something. Our next series is going to be real interesting. My husband has put me in complete charge of that. And the very first part of that, we're going to tell our story of how we met. Very interesting story, but just remember the word stalker. All right. But yes, you never asked me. With that being said, I see some answers here, some responses. So Angela says, yes, if there's an understanding that we are all now friends. She said, I need to come in. I love her use of the word we are all now friends. I'm gonna need you to send Angela. Angela, he's our sound engineer right here. You know, we have a whole crew. You know, we have an executive producer, which is myself. I check questions and stuff, and he's over here sending links and carrying on. So just as soon as you get it, we'll bring you on in. You can come on in. Dion, you guys will see Soleil, our goddaughter. She said, yes, you must be secure in who you are and your relationship. I like this. One individual put it in terms of we, like, come on, there's got to be understanding. We got to have a conversation. Somebody else put it in terms of you have an individual responsibility to be secure and in who you are and in your relationship. So
does Angela, do you have your messenger set up?
Yeah, make sure those of you who are trying to come on in the house have your messenger set up. But I want to hear from some other people. Can you still be friends with the opposite sex? And here's what's interesting. I'm going to throw a monkey wrench in this in just a minute. What's up, kid? Keisha Lamore. I'm so glad you can join us. Keisha, feel free to comment to this question. Go ahead and put that question back up so our people that are just joining in can see the question. Can you still be friends with the opposite sex? All right. And so, Keisha, what we're doing is, and those of you who are also joining in, we want you to answer on the chat and give your reason why. And if you want to come in, you just say, let me in. I want to come on in the living room. And we will send you a link through your Facebook Messenger, and you can come on in this house or in this living room. All right. Angela said yes. Did you just ask her a question? All right. She says yes. What's going on, Melissa? All right. So those of you just joining in, the question, we're doing something different this week. Not only are we answering questions, but we want y'all to go live with us. However you want, we'll do it in order. We'll send you the link for StreamYard through Facebook Messenger, and make sure you turn on your camera and your audio. It'll cue you if you're on your phone. If you're on a laptop, it's even easier, and we'll be ready to let you in. Do we have Angela in just yet?
Angela has the link now. Once she logs on, we'll bring her on so we can hear her perspective.
Meanwhile, I'll still be reading comments. Rochelle Smith Strong says, yes, the definition of friends needs to be established. I'm so glad she said that, because I'm going to actually look up the definition of a friend. A friend is a person whom one knows and with whom one has a bond of mutual affection, typically exclusive of sexual or family relations.
Exactly.
I think that's a pretty thorough.
It is very thorough
definition.
And that's one of the things I always tell people. It's not a friend if y'all still making booty calls.
That's what you call that what you call a booty call. That's what they called it back in the 90s. I don't know what they call it now. Oh, they call it Netflix and chill. That's what they call it now.
If y'all still Netflix and chilling, you're not friends.
Yeah, you're not
That's
friends.
Something else.
I mean, it says exclusive, right? Some people call it, if you're talking about music, soul child. Some people call them a buddy. You know, they have this mutual understanding of what their relationship
as long
is.
as you don't say friend.
Ooh, watch out now.
Because friend has a totally different meaning.
So, can you still be friends with the opposite sex? Is she on yet with us?
No, I don't see her
All right,
yet.
guys, we would love to hear your input. Should I throw in the monkey wrench yet?
Go ahead.
All right.
Why not?
I'm going to add something to this. The question on the table is, can you still be friends with the opposite sex? Suppose that friend and that opposite sex is the person's ex. Do you still, she said, Lord, I cannot get it to work. Do you still feel as if it's okay? All right. Do you still feel like it's all right? Okay. We got some. I see you, JC. What's going on, JC? All right, here we go. He said, if you had a sexual relationship with your exes, the ties should be severed.
Right.
It is not about being insecure. As Christians, singles prior to getting married, we pray for deliverance from our past. So we on to call it friends. It probably was a typo. You probably were typing really fast. What's the difference between your ex friend and your now spouse? Ooh, he just put a lot down there for us. So I'll say it again. Oh, it's on the screen for everybody. So if you had a sexual relationship with your exes, the ties should be severed. It's not about being insecure. As Christian singles prior to getting married, we pray for deliverance from our past. And who would call it friends, or who would call it friends? What's the difference between your ex-friend and your now spouse? Guys, you guys are giving us some good feedback. All right. Deanna is saying she knew this was going to be the monkey wrench, right? She knew. That's all right, JC. You can retype it if you need to. But we got the bulk of what you said there. But she wasn't able to get on.
I haven't seen her yet.
Oh wow. Okay.
She may be on Android.
Watch out. Here's what we're not gonna do.
She said, I think your ex could still be your friend as long as you both understand that there could never be anything more. Right.
What's going on, Sean?
We've discussed this several times.
Talking about we as in a collective audience.
This has been brought because person I dated when I was in high school, we're friends. You and I, she and, you know, all of us are friends, her husband and I. There is nothing there. You know what I mean? Now, as Remy said, ties have to be severed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can't.
Emotional ties.
Emotional ties, exactly.
Some people have to sever physical ties.
Well, all of those ties that would make that an unhealthy relationship need to be severed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so when you're talking about these friendships, the reason people are so afraid of this particular subject.
Oh, wait, she's on.
Oh, there she is.
Statement. Finish your statement.
I'm not gonna even finish it. Let me just go ahead and bring.
She waited long enough, right?
Yeah, let's
we
go ahead
all
and
waited long enough. Yes.
Hey,
what's going on, Angela?
I get to see you guys and talk to you. How are you?
I'm
good,
well.
good. I hear that northern accent.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm New York all the way.
Yes,
so I got to work on my sarcasm with my marriage, but it's all good. Now, it is a droid, so that's why it took so long.
No problem. Everybody's perfect.
But as far as can you still be friends with the opposite sex? Now, last week you all just blew away, and I put my comment. Can you? What do you do after you go if you find out your spouse is cheating?
Right.
And then now this week you go into this. Well, guess what? On Monday I found stuff. I went snooping.
Right.
So I found stuff.
Come on now.
So now it's like, what he doing? You understand? Mm-hmm. But I'm New York, so of course I approach, and he has female friends he's helping.
Okay.
You understand? So me personally, I think that you can have female friends if they're now our friends, because it's all right if you helping someone who's down on the low, but if I'm not aware and all of a sudden I'm seeing receipts and you helping out women, there's a problem.
Exactly.
There's a problem. So again, when we are friends, then it becomes we are helping her. You know, I have a nonprofit organization. We can call it charity, and I can give her 501c3 EIN number. Nobody got time for that. Oh. So I think we have to have that understanding.
So let me just say this to you, because Ms. Ruffin, you hit the nail dead on the head. I am a firm believer, and this is what I was going to say. Okay. The only reason we hide or struggle with this conversation is when there's some mischievousness going on.
Inappropriate.
Right. So because there is, even I have coworkers, you know, that I work with that are females that we've been working together for over years, that we're friends, but I'm not talking to them on the phone, and Rachel don't. That's not how I operate. You know what I mean? And and the ones like Gamble or Maya, we know each other's spouses. You know what I'm saying? So she's not just my friend now. I made sure to introduce her to Rachel and Rachel to her husband. So this is not something that's being done undercover, you know, all incognito. No, because you should never put yourself in a situation where things can appear right, and that's one of the scriptures that that we had. We should shy away from the appearance of evil. You know what I mean? Right. There is no way I'm going to do something that would instill doubt in her mind about my about my commitment to our marriage.
Right. And I think what you're basically wanting was transparency. Transparency is the key, because I truly believe if you don't have anything to hide, it shouldn't be a thing of where you were helping whoever, male, female, what have you, that your spouse doesn't know about it.
Oh,
and I make sure
that happened to us.
What's that?
You don't remember?
Baby, there's so much.
Remember one of my coworkers? House caught, apartment caught on fire.
Yeah, he immediately was like, "Babe, I want to help my coworker, but let me just say this: what has to be already at that foundation, and that is trust."
Right.
Because here's the thing: because we had this conversation too about insecurities. Sometimes people look down on people that are, well, you just insecure. Well, you can be insecure, like in general, about a whole lot of things, but there are things that you could specifically be insecure about because of something that took place in the relationship.
Exactly.
That you're like, no, I'm not secure about this and where we stand.
Right. So it can, we could manufacture insecurity in people and then try to hold it against them.
Right.
Exactly.
And sometimes when people have been in an insecure situation, and that situation ends with that person, if you're not careful and if you don't heal from it, you can project it on a new relationship. But when he told me, babe, he had been told me about somebody he had dated named Avis, because we talked about that. But I'm sorry, babe, I didn't mean to say her name, but nobody knows who she is, and it's all good. And so, and she probably get on here, we'd all laugh about it. My bad, I'm only human. But when he said she wants to go out with her and her husband, and we all go out, honestly, I chuckled to myself, but I didn't feel any type of way about it. And we had a wonderful time. And to this day, do we kiki and talk on the phone all the time? No, we pretty much have a friendship, but also a business relationship as well.
Yeah. So it's just, yes, those things can happen. But listen, I want to pull up this comment. And Angela, we really, really do appreciate you coming on.
Has she been snooping? Lord have mercy.
But look, listen to this. It said it depends on how your spouse feels. If your spouse is not okay, then no, your commitment is to your wife, not your friend or husband. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I agree with you 100% here. My thing is, if I introduce any idea of an opposite sex friend that I have, and Rachel feels uncomfortable about it, guess what? Okay,
they gone.
They out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not really a hard decision for me. Now, would I ask her, hey, why did you feel that way? I may have that conversation with her, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be after they out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be fighting for the person. That's not what I'm gonna be doing, because she would have a legitimate explanation for why she feels the way she feels. Because even as a man, we know guys, just like women know women. There's a look. If I say I have a female friend and she sees us together and she sees the way that girl looking at me or that woman looking at me, she's gonna be like, nope. And vice versa.
I say to him, she like you, she feeling you.
Yeah, and so for me, because even if I don't see it, even if that is not my mindset, I'm going to hear that, because guess what? I want her to give me the same respect if I saw it with her and a male friend. You see what I'm saying? Because listen, the truth is, a lot of people will lie in wait just like a tiger. They're gonna lie in wait. So I'm gonna wait here. I'm gonna just keep myself accessible just in case they mess up. I'm right here.
And there are little things you can do too. Like when he comes to my job, if there's a new male that he has never met, I invite him. I introduce him to every new person, but I just make sure I introduce him and say, hey, honey, this is such and such, this is my husband. And in doing that, I'm honoring him so that he knows, and I know in front of this person, and they know this is my husband.
Right.
And I'm not trying to keep it a secret on either end.
Right.
Complete and total transparency.
Right. So, Angela, thank you again for your comment. We appreciate you. Yes. And look, I'm sure in the future we'll bring you back on.
Listen,
have a good one. Bye-bye.
Let me tell you, the comments are lighting up, and I'd like to read it. Dion said, and you guys will see it as Soleil. She said, you can, I think your ex could still be your friend as long as you both understand that there could never be anything more. Now, the only thing about that is sometimes you could have that understanding, but given the wrong or right situation, your spouse ticked you off, y'all already having issues, and you're consoling in one another and talking to one another, confiding, yes, and that other person is consoling you, it can easily turn into that.
And I'm glad you said that, because that is so true. And this is where personal maturity comes into play. The moment a said friend says something that's inappropriate, you should not only address it, but also recognize that you're not really in the place you thought you were with that person. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
And it's your responsibility to make the adjustment. And see, in all honesty, a lot of people struggle with letting go. Because I'm so familiar with this person. They've been there, right? They've been there for so long. And there was just one mistake. No, what that person did was reveal the content of their heart. and now you need to let go and move on.
Let it go.
Right. Because we can't continue to play ourselves when it comes to situations like this. You don't want to create a scenario that makes your spouse doubt your commitment to your union.
And I was going to say, you got to protect your union.
That's right.
Because don't get it twisted. Not everybody is out there trying to protect your union. You know, they're not like, oh, I'm going to respect that.
Right.
You know, you got some people don't want a permanent relationship. They are enamored being the other person because they don't have to make commitments.
They don't have no responsibility. Right. They don't have any responsibility.
So you have to be careful.
This is a hit it, quit it. Let's move on.
I would love to honor our viewers.
Han said they gotta go.
Annie said, yes, my husband says I stole his best friend because now we talk every day. I'm the godmother to her 21-year-old daughter. We all have been friends for 30 years. And I bet you, Annie, it's nothing but transparency. And you were secure enough, and he didn't give you a reason to be insecure in order to have that type of relationship. Melanie says, exactly. Wife needs to know all about it all day, every day.
That's right.
And Dion agreed with Angela. We can be friends together.
That's right.
What's going on, Melvin?
Dion, what up, Melv?
Dion says, now you can't be helping your ex, who is now your friend, out financially without consulting your significant other.
Exactly.
Now, that ain't going to work. I believe in so many different ways, you know, when it comes to that. There just got to be boundaries, like you said earlier. Hillis.
Look at what Rochelle said. Rochelle said, I'm not going to my single friend for no married advice. Rochelle Smith Strong.
She said it.
That's called wisdom. She must be from Monroe, Louisiana.
Go ahead and put it on the screen.
I think she's from
Monroe. But you know, here's the thing.
That sounds like something wise right out of Louisiana.
And I would agree with you. But whatever advice you get, you better test it against your beliefs. The word of God.
There you go.
You see what I'm saying? Because not everybody believes in the word, you know. But those of us, which I think is most of us, that's on, you know, that's viewing this and listening and talking, you better test it.
That's right.
Because even some married folk will give you the wrong advice.
Exactly.
Because of their own bitterness or their own issues. Hillis says it depends on how your spouse feels. If your spouse is okay,
we read that one.
Yeah, we read that one. Okay, did we read the one that Melanie said after that? She said,
what happens when they don't feel like they are doing anything wrong and keep sending the person money? Well, now that's a deeper conversation.
Yeah,
that's a deeper conversation, Melanie.
Yes.
And her last name is Rogers, so she got to be a sweetheart, and it's spelled exactly like mine. But anyway, Melanie, no, if you have a person that you've shared how you feel and you feel opposite of what they want to do, and they still move forward with their original plan, it's deeper than just that situation. And I think that would lead to more in-depth conversations between you two, because this is one of the things that I even share with my wife. If I'm sharing with her how I feel and she never addressing how I feel, reverts back to how she feels, or continues to do the opposite of what I'm saying bothers me, the truth is you might not really be caring about how I feel on that particular subject. You see what I'm saying? And now we can address that and then get to the why don't you care? You know what I mean?
Right. And let's talk about the obvious when it comes to, because I'm about to transition to the next question, because I know y'all are probably ready for the next question. The obvious is you should know each other's friends and things of that nature way before you get married.
Exactly. Should.
So yeah, you should.
But I would have to reveal it for you.
Yeah, you have to reveal it.
Right.
If they don't live in that town. But like, to me, somebody I'm that close with, like I think about Randy, you know, may he continue to rest in peace. If he was still alive, there is no way you would know who Randy is, because Randy was like a brother to me.
Randy he'll probably be in the same boat with Dolores.
Yeah, well, no, Randy, and he's hilarious. He was hilarious as all get out. But there's no way we could have been in a relationship,
right, and
you not know him. And so hopefully there are relationships even forged with that, even if he lived far away. I'm FaceTiming. Hey, Randy, this is such, you know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I get it.
Those kinds of things happen authentically.
Right.
If you're being open from the very beginning.
Exactly. Let's transition to the next question.
We ready for the next question? All right, y'all. Some of y'all, the way that went, I know y'all about to really, turn up a little bit. How much time?
Or what time?
Well, it could be what time or how much time should you spend with your single friends. The what time was when it gets to baby, you went
we got rid of that one.
No, baby. Okay, we gonna go with that one then.
Remember we went 1, 3, 5.
Okay, my bad.
Thank you.
I'm gonna apologize in front of all these people.
Oh my Lord.
Okay, what time?
Hold on.
Do you consider as being disrespectful to come back home?
Mm-hmm.
So that means either person
has gone out.
Mm-hmm. Now we know this is a loaded question. We know there's a lot of scenarios and circumstances, but we want to hear from you. So here's what we want y'all to do, as we said before. We want y'all to respond to it. How much time? I mean, do you consider it to be disrespectful? Right. And then if you want to say the why, you can type in the why on the platform, or we can send you in the link. When you say, let me in, I want to come on in the room.
Yeah.
All right.
This is a good question too, because again, I'm a firm believer that these conversations should have been had long before, long before the person went out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What do we perceive to be respectful or disrespectful?
Yeah, there's so many things around that. But while people are commenting,
you're talking about Hillis, aren't you?
Hillis made a comment, even though it's about our first question, I just feel like it's worthy to highlight it. It is very dangerous for you to be friends with your ex if your relationship was deeper than your marriage. Talk about that. Boom. Drops the mic, walks away. Hillis.
Yes. Well, and here's the thing. Here's the thing about that comment, even though that comment is deep, right? But here is the thing about that comment that I hope can ground you for those out there who are feeling the impact of that question. If your relationship with that person was so deep, why y'all ain't married?
Well, here's the thing, baby. And right now we're talking hypothetical.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
For whatever reason, they could have broke up. And then you get into a new relationship thinking
that you're going to have a deeper relationship.
Or that it was better. Or it actually felt like a deeper relationship at the beginning.
Got you.
But once you got your toes in it and your knees in it, your elbows in it.
Did you say your toes and knees?
Now you like this here just trying to come up for air every now and then. Y'all know what I'm talking about. What's the name of this? Real Marriages? Real Talk? Real Marriage? Real Talk? Yeah. And by the time, before you know it, you realize, wait a minute. Now all of a sudden, how they say hindsight is 2020. Wow, that relationship that I left was actually the relationship
that I should have stayed in.
Right. And now I'm stuck like Chuck.
And so I do, and that's a valid question. And I venture to say.
What you venture to say, boo-boo?
Most of us as adults can probably say we've felt that at some point in our life.
What you mean? The one that got away?
Yeah. You can't.
I can't.
I know, not now. You can't. But I mean, before me, could you have said that?
Baby. Honestly, if I'm being totally honest, and my friends might be listening, watching, every single one that I'm no longer with, I have not thought back like, man, I wish I can go back to that relationship.
Okay.
I wish I. Don't get me wrong. Like, you always want, because I was married before, it was a thing of, I would have wanted for my children not to have gone through, divorce and things of that nature. But I have never thought, even before I was married, I wish I could go back to that relationship. I know some people do, no judgment, but that's just not my story. Wow, people saying some stuff on here, baby.
Somebody say, spouse told me that it wasn't
the ex's business
that we are married. What is he talking about?
Maybe it had to do with
her toes in it.
No. That was from earlier. I think it had to do with the ex don't have to know that you're currently married.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, I guess that was it. But Angela said, basically, in the answer to the question, what time? She said, when the street lights come on, you should be home. So basically, here in Atlanta,
you ain't going
sun sets at about 8:45.
Right, about 9 o'clock, you need to be stepping through the door.
And in the fall, it can be as early as almost 6 o'clock. So basically, if you're in the Ruffin household, you are pretty much
on curfew. Right. You
right. Go. Baby, we got a private mission.
That is hilarious.
But don't forget, if you want to get on, say, let me in. and we'll let you on in. We'll send you the link.
We got another one coming in.
Okay, we got.
What's up, Dion?
Hey,
what's going on?
What's
so
going on?
which one of these questions you want to give
Be
your
let in on?
the last one. The last one.
Okay, so you know, what is a disrespectful time to be walking in the house when you're married?
I don't think it's disrespectful, especially if you've already told your spouse that you're going to go out with your girlfriends and you're going to be coming in pretty late. You let them know what the lateness is, the time is, and I just think that that's not disrespectful. Because when I go out with my girlfriends, we're not usually coming home till like 1 o'clock.
Okay, so check it out. Here's what you said. You said told. Okay, I'm telling you what time I'm coming in. That could be misconstrued as
It can be, but if you have an issue with the time that I'm coming in, then that's when you say, "Oh, baby, I think you should come in a little earlier."
Right.
You know,
that's totally different.
No, I'm messing with her.
Yeah,
but no, seriously, the fact that you all had the conversation.
That's where I was
and there was no disagreement. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Hey, babe, I'm going to when we went to that Falcons game. Good Lord. Between leaving the stadium and getting on the train, getting back, I was mad because I was getting back that late. But you know, she knew we were going to the game. It was a late game. You know, it was a late game. So, but I'm just not the person that goes out and party. So,
and let me say this: I can actually speak to it from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
In my first marriage, that individual was out all the time at some point in the marriage,
Mm-hmm.
all the time. Never knew when. Knew they'd be out, but you know, wasn't really getting good sleep because they could come in at any time. This one here, when he does go out, I'm not even stressed about it. I mean, he'll text me when he gets there, text me when he's heading back, but that's not even something I asked him to do. That's something that he does.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I never fret, even if he's coming back late, because once again, that trust is there. I'm not thinking you out doing anything crazy because you haven't given me a reason to. But I was going to say what you said, Dion, the fact that you said, I'm going to have a conversation with him. It's not like you're just like, I'm going out and he knows nothing else. Or it might flip the script a little bit. Suppose your husband went out all the time. Because, you know, you have some relationships where every weekend, some spouses has their set day, night, what have you.
Happy hours and
that they are going.
We ain't in that type of relationship.
Would you say that would put a different spin on things for you?
Because I'm petty. I would do the same thing, and then you'll be like, "Well, why are you going out every weekend?" I'm gonna say, "Cause you going out every weekend."
There we go.
I would do that.
So are you petty, or is that some people don't realize what they're doing until it's done to them?
So if that were the case in my marriage, I would probably say something because I don't usually I don't bite my tongue. So I would say something like, you know, you're going out every weekend. You know, you married, right? Like, I don't even care. Like, I'm sure you're not even doing nothing crazy. I just want you to know that I noticed that you're going out every weekend.
Right. And, you know, and I think that is the best way to handle it, because when we fail to share how we are feeling, especially if it's something that's bothering us, it festers. It grows within us, and it makes us angry over a period of time. So we have to make sure that we are being open and honest with each other about how we feel. Not only that, the person who's receiving this message has to be very, very careful at honoring the information that they just received from their significant other. If something is bothering your spouse and you don't process it and take it seriously enough to act accordingly, you are sending a message that you don't care. I don't care if that's what you want to tell. If you don't want to, if you want to tell yourself something opposite, you are actually telling your spouse, "I don't care how you feel. This is what I want to do." And so now that's going to breed more problems in your relationship. But Dion, I'm glad that you and RJ, and I guess people gonna be like, how he know? This is my oldest child, you all. Just wait, everybody. Tell them what's going on. This is my oldest child. We love her to death, and she's new. It's been a year now.
April made a year.
Good Lord, that went by fast.
It's been a year. Yep, April 13th.
Her and RJ have been married for a year.
He did.
Yeah, and I pray for him all the time. I really do.
You see how he just threw her under the bus?
What I just said, I pray for him.
He's the bus driver.
Thank you, G-Mama. Like you.
You see what that feels like? But yeah, thank you so much for coming on in. I think what's key about this question, and you touched on it, it says, what time do you consider as being disrespectful to come back home? And I think what's key is you want to make sure you're respecting your spouse.
Exactly.
Because some couples might be okay with the once a week thing because that is something that
they do.
Like, right. You go out with your buddies once a week,
and I'm going out
with my girls once a week.
Right.
And this is something that we do because that helps with our balance of, what we feel like we need as individuals socially.
But it's agreed upon.
Right. Because let's be quite honest, your spouse is not going to feel every part of you. If we were in like a psychology class, they have the circles of everything that encompasses who you are and what makes what fulfills you as a person. And so your spouse is not going to give you all of that. Mm-hmm. And so you might need to, whether it be time with yourself, time with your friends, but I think the priority piece is big. There are some comments. Keith agreed with me. He says, I'm with you, Rachel.
What's up, cuz?
I never look back or wanted to go back. That's what I'm talking about. Let me go ahead and like that comment. Now, Hillis says, if you have children, remember, you must set examples for them. Mm-hmm. I don't want my children to see me coming in late or the next time they see me is in the morning.
Right.
He said, what time is disrespectful for your children? He done messed around and threw a monkey wrench in this thing.
Yeah. Hillis, you know what? Hillis gonna stop trying to be deep on our show all the time.
You know Hillis?
Yeah, we know Hillis.
Do I know Hillis?
You know Hillis when you see his face.
From Oakland?
Yeah, he used to think he could play basketball. Now he's a preacher too.
There you go. That's the third bus run over that we've had. Mayday. But and here's the thing with the children. And I guess for everybody, it's going to be different. I know with my children, first of all, it wasn't an every week thing. But once I became especially a single mom, they knew I just taught them to respect that mom needs her time. Mm-hmm. Like I wasn't neglecting them. I've been there for them. Mm-hmm. So they were always happy for me to go out. Sometimes it'd be a weekend trip, but they were in good hands. They were being taken care of. But now if mommy was, turning up every time you turn around, it'd be like, wow, mom, like,
right.
We're here. So I think that's a good point to bring up. You do have to be mindful of what the children are seeing if you have children, but I think it's all about the health of the relationship with you and your spouse and what you guys as a couple bring to the children as to what's okay and what's not okay.
So let's transition to this last question because I think this one's gonna be a
okay, which
this
one?
one's gonna be a good one.
Which one?
This one's gonna be a good one.
Oh no.
Yes.
Shucky ducky.
Should you give your spouse access to all of your social media accounts and passwords to your phone?
Okay.
Should you? Because let me tell you something. This conversation right here.
Show them the scriptures for the.
This one, this question right here comes up all the time in the barbershop.
Woo, wait a minute. You gonna give it? You privy to barbershop talk that you gonna tell us about?
I'm not gonna give you all the
y'all
juice.
know y'all got code in the barbershop.
I'm not gonna give you all the juice. But the way that this initial conversation came up is because one time you I want to say something. Oh, this was a while back though, but this is when I was going to the barbershop off of Chapel Hill. Mm-hmm. My phone rang while I was in the chair. And I said, answer it. And they saw that you knew my code to answer the phone. And so
when we were in the barbershop?
Yeah, you came to the barbershop with me. So the next time I came to the barbershop, they was like, dude, your wife know your code to your phone. I'm like, bro, I don't have a code on my phone to keep my wife out of it. It's for you. It's for you.
It's for everybody else. Right. I want to hear from them. I don't want to tell it all. I don't want to tell it all.
But I mean, I just,
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
this is a conversation that people really have.
These are real conversations, guys. Yes. Real talk. Wait a minute. Angela tickles me so much. She said, what you trying to hide? Yes. 3 exclamation points.
No, what they need access to.
But Sean says, yes, you should. Dion, who was just on, was like, nah, all caps. What they need access to my phone for?
Well, let me just say this. No, if they ask, what would be the problem? And I think that's the $1 million question you would have
we'll
to ask
get to
yourself.
that. We'll see if somebody wants to come. If you want to come on in the living room, let us know. But Melanie just dropped the bomb. She said,
Melanie? Why not?
She said, just click on her for everybody to see. Why not? You gave them your body! Exclamation point. And that's on period, Pooh.
That's a good one.
Ooh, she dropped the bomb on that one.
Oh,
why?
No wonder. Her last name is Rogers. I mean,
there you go. What else? What are some of the other comments? As some of you are thinking about,
Strong said, there's nothing to hide, then there's nothing to hide. Our passwords are the same.
Oh, wow. That's
see, that's what I'm talking about, Miss Strong. I mean, I don't have anything to hide. That's why she has my access to the stuff. Why? What I gotta hide?
Wow. Tommy said, yes, that's a given. Nothing in a healthy marriage should be a secret. Passwords and all. JC says, absolutely. There shouldn't be anything to hide. Enjoy your life to its fullest before you say I do. Oh, mercy. Let me tell you something. This past summer, I had a surprise. And Dion, you're probably laughing. Carla, you're probably laughing.
Look.
I had a surprise birthday party for my husband, and that's the most sneaking and not telling the truth, all in the name of surprising my husband. I would be the worst cheater ever, because having to like hide my phone, cover the phone, put it down, because he'd be like, why is such and such calling? What they need? It's too much. Those of you who can do it.
Well, we got somebody that wants to come on. Somebody want to come on in the living room. So let's go bring her in. Hey, get out your nose. Hey.
What's going on, Miss Fabulous? All right. This is Carla.
Guys, we don't even have to mention who this is, because I'm sure y'all probably saying, oh, they look just alike.
If you see the resemblance,
right, that's
this my older sister.
That's Carla.
Not too old.
Right.
What's going on? What you got for us?
You guys, this is so choppy and only hear a few words at a time.
Oh, you guys are having bad weather.
It's bad.
Okay, so you're choppy on this end too.
I wonder if she got out and came back in.
Well, I think it's the weather. So, and she's probably on Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi is gonna be
bad. I've moved around my house and still nothing. Can you hear me?
Yes, we got you now.
She turned off her Wi-Fi and just went off her own data. But go ahead.
Okay, let me just answer.
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
But in regard to you got to have trust, of course. And of course, this conversation has to take place before you get married, because if you're asking me for my password, it's like, why all of a sudden we've established accounts, and now why all of a sudden you're asking me, to have access to my account? So I would have to think either you're doing things sneaky, all of a sudden you're insecure, and you need access. Not that I would have a problem with it, but if you need my password account, are you willing to give me your password?
Exactly.
So yeah, I would have to have that conversation. But what's that?
No, we're just
listening.
Listening to what you were saying.
You're bringing up some good points. When you're done, I want to say something to what you said.
Because
like she can't hear us.
Yeah, pretty much, like I said, you would have to. Yeah, it's so bad, guys. I'm so sorry. I've been walking around, and no matter where I stand, it's just really bad. But go ahead.
We can hear you. You bring up a very good point that a lot of people don't think about. With the whole thing of asking for phone, sometimes people start getting leery of you because of their own mess that they're doing. So it's
the dirt they do.
The dirt they're doing. Like everything could have been fine. You're using your phone. You're not hiding it. You're not, running to it to answer it. But all of a sudden, maybe when they start doing some things that are suspect or sus, as we say, all of a sudden, Let me see your login information. Let me see your phone. All of a sudden, they start questioning a lot of stuff. And so many times, the person on the receiving end is not that, like she said, it's not that you don't want to give it, but why all of a sudden you being detective?
Well, you know,
asking
and
for
we kind of briefly discussed this.
Exactly.
Because what we discussed when we first looked at these questions was, if you know that you have not been doing anything to warrant that type of question, right? Something is going on, but I'm not going to give you more fuel. So I'm going to be like, okay, well, here you go. Now, after I give you access to whatever you asked for, now we're going to have a conversation.
That's
so,
right.
hey, where did that come from? What's going on? Why did you feel the need to ask me, for that information? What's going on? And then I will actively listen to that comment or that response to ensure, because here's the truth of the matter. Maybe they could have very well have seen something that made them feel kind of some way, or like you all said, they could be just up to some dirt. Now they trying to make sure you ain't doing that.
Right. This is
Whatever
true.
the case may be. But like Carla said,
Exactly.
if I'm giving up mine, okay, you might as well have yours written down too.
You need to be totally transparent.
Right.
As
So
well.
now we can both share in the looking through. But I want to look at one of our comments.
Before you read it, can I just say one thing?
Shoot, go ahead.
Here's the thing that I'm saying. I'm not saying that Jimmy and I sat down the minute we either were dating seriously or married and said, okay, here are all my passwords. And he's like, here are all mine. It's just stuff that came up organically.
Yeah.
Like his phone is ringing, baby, can you answer that for me? Or he needs to use my phone for something and I give him the code with no resistance. Or I need to get into his email because I'm booking something and I need something from his email. That's when it came up for us, but there was never any resistance or hesitation.
Why you need that?
Right, because there is trust as it relates to that.
Right. I have nothing to hide. You can go through all my messages.
So for those of you who are thinking like, well, nobody just necessarily sits down and says, oh, here's all of mine. It's just that if it does come up, where is your heart with that? Are you willing to give it up, or are you hiding something?
Exactly. If it comes up out of the blue, that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
It comes up out of the blue.
Are you willing to?
Yeah, I mean, you would want to know, man, where did that come from? But I'm not going to have that conversation until after I've given the information that you're requesting. Because what I don't want that person you to feel is why you don't want to give it to me.
Right.
Because then you do come across as if maybe there is something you don't want them to see.
Right. Now I want to know.
Right. And so you give the information, and now you all have that heart-to-heart conversation. Okay, well, hey, you got my information. I mean, feel free to go through whatever you want to go through to give you the sense of security that you need.
That's right.
Because I'm not doing anything shady on my end.
Right.
But I do have to ask, babe, where did that come from?
Yeah.
What I'm saying?
Is that? Where's the root of that?
What why did you ask me for that information? Did I do something that
is there something going on that I need to know about?
Right, that I'm not aware of, did I do something that maybe came across, unpleasant to you?
Yeah.
And so now we have that dialogue.
It's like you can ask me, but be ready to give yours up.
Exactly.
Let's make a trade.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because to me that's called mutual respect. I'm not going to ask anything of her that she can't.
Wait, what'd you say, Carla?
Say that again, Carla.
I was just saying, if you're going to ask me for my password, are you ready to give yours up? Are you ready to be transparent? Because there's got to be a reason.
Exactly.
I've established an account. You have one, and all of a sudden, is it damaging? What are you doing? You got to have a really good reason for that one.
That's right.
Not that I have anything to hide. It's just okay.
Let's talk about it.
No problem.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You got to have a good reason as to what's leading you to want to have my password.
Right.
Very good point. Thank you so much.
I wanna bring up this comment.
That's the same comment, baby.
Carl said this: having a password only raises questions and concerns.
I want to know what Carol means by that.
Yeah.
Do you understand it?
I don't want to assume.
I would love for Carol to come on.
Carol, could you please
or type it in?
Type it in or come on and explain to us what that means. Having a password only raises questions and concerns. Why would it raise questions and concerns? So we can kind of get some clarity on.
Or maybe she can give context because she could have been putting
clarity or context or whatever the case may be. Right.
And then Melanie said we don't give bank account access until we get married.
That makes sense. I wouldn't give it either.
This is true. This is true.
And look at my child. I mean,
what she said.
This girl said, "Okay, so you asked for my password and you randomly start reading my messages, and you stumble across me talking about how you are starting to bawl, then you gonna be mad. Mind your business. I told you that you were balding, so it's no secret, but you're so silly.
But since you feel the need to snoop, your feelings gonna be hurt. I cannot stand you. No, let me say this. I'm so glad she brings that up. Oh, Dion, you a fool.
She is crazy.
You tickled me with that one. But let me say this, because let's not forget we have different relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've actually talked about this like probably last year in another conversation we had. Although we have our relationship with our spouse, you do have relationship with your friends,
right?
Like my girlfriends. So I have my girlfriends. There's some things that they text to me that my husband doesn't know, but it has nothing to do with him or our relationship or anything that would fracture our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really none of his business. And when I say that, I'm not even saying it ugly. He knows that.
Right.
I mean, we have these conversations. He has conversation with his friends. So here's what I would hope we would do. If I was on the phone, like let's say I answered something on his phone and a text came up, I would hope that I would respect it, especially when I see, like, it only takes like a few words to realize, oh, this is something personal.
Right.
And not read it. But there are times where if it's something personal, whether it be a text or a conversation, I would expect him to respect that, because whatever that, my friend trusted me to, information with, or whatever she's going through, he's not privy to that information.
And I shouldn't want to be privy to
and he shouldn't want to be privy. And I'm not privy to it either. And I do as many conflicts as we get into sometimes, I can truly say that is something that we've never had a conflict about, because we made the decision to honor that.
Right. Because as you stated, what you and your friends talk about on a personal level is really not my business, especially if it has nothing to do with me. Your friends are sharing some stuff that they're going through, talking to you, giving them some advice, or even vice versa. You sharing with your friends and they're giving you some advice.
Right.
I really shouldn't involve myself in those type of conversations.
That's right.
And so from the perspective of, is there a problem giving your spouse your passwords and all that stuff? For me, the answer is no. Right. The answer is no. If you have nothing to hide, it shouldn't be an issue. Right. However, when we break this down to the most minute level of this conversation, even if you give that up, hopefully your significant other is mature enough not to violate other people's privacy, as it relates to the relationships that you have formulated with them.
Right. And I want to respond to something Dion just said. She said, I don't have anything to hide, but I do feel like I should have some privacy as well as you should. And see, here's what's interesting, Dion. Because we do have that mutual respect, I really do feel like I have privacy when it comes to my phone. Because I mean, we don't often answer each other's phone or open the generally when we do that, we're sitting right next to each other.
Right.
He's driving and I'm doing something, or I'm in the other room and I might say answer it or whatever the case may be. But you can still do it and still maintain that level of privacy.
Exactly. Carla, thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate you coming on in the living room. Hopefully one day
you
bring yourself here to get
yes
room.
I enjoyed myself.
Thank you again, sis. So we'll talk to you later.
Good job, guys. Keep it up.
All right. Thank you, sis. Bye-bye.
All right. What else we got here? We got a lot of Carol said, I think Carol went back and clarified. If they ask for your password and the person doesn't give it, then you start asking questions as to why and what do you have to hide. I don't know if that was in response to what we were saying earlier, but wait, she typed some more stuff here. We'll go back to Alex. Then two, if they see something that means nothing to you, but they make it a thing, so you have to trust then I don't feel you need a password. Do you understand what she's saying?
I think I do.
Okay. You want me to go back and read the first one again?
Yeah,
Or
you
the second
can.
one? If they ask for your password and the person doesn't give it, then you start asking questions as to
Right.
why and what.
Right.
And what do you have to hide? Got
Gotcha.
you. Then, two, if they see something that means nothing to you, but they make it a thing. So if you have trust, then I don't feel you need a password.
Right. So what she's saying is, um, if you ask for the password, they decide not to give you the password. Now you're gonna be like, so why you don't want to give me the password? So that's gonna cause problems, right? Then she goes on to say, okay, you give them the password. Now they go through your stuff and they read a text that didn't mean anything to you when you received it, but they take it as it means something to them. Why this nigga ain't calling you? Yeah. You know. So now it's a thing. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
I get what she's saying, but I would challenge you to look at it from a different perspective.
She gave another comment, but
Yeah.
What's up, Paula? Girl, you know you need to come on in this living room.
The perspective I would like to challenge you to kind of look at it from is, typically, and let's just give our significant other the benefit of the doubt, they're not asking just to be asking. Maybe something they saw, heard, made them a little bit whatever. I just don't think it's worth it to not give it to them and go through that struggle.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And so, as you know, as Carol was saying, you know, you go through here and you read some, you know, that didn't mean nothing to me, but it might mean something to you. You have to question, what could that possibly be? What could be in your text that your significant other would see and be like, why this person texting you this?
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? So we always have to be mindful that when we're in a relationship or a marriage,
right,
that anytime somebody sends us something that's inappropriate for a married person to be receiving from somebody that's not their spouse, you need to cut that off. So just because you brushed it off, don't mean that it was nothing.
Well, there should be another text in there where it's showing that you might be checking.
Not only that, but you know, you got to know that whatever you thought about the relationship you and that individual had, it obviously ain't true. And if you thought that this person was feeling you, but you're not feeling them, but they still communicating with you, maybe you're not being honest about how you're dealing with certain situations.
Right. And the flip side to that is, as you were talking, babe, I thought about this because this would drive me plain bananas if you did this. Somebody else shouldn't be interacting with your cell phone more than you are. Like,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
If I every time I look up, you have my phone and you're checking, like, now we have another issue.
Right.
Why are you checking my phone?
Because what
have I done to make
exactly.
What have I done to make you not trust me
so much that you picking up my phone more than me?
You are you entertained by my text? Now that's a bit much, and now you're gonna get put on restriction.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And don't get me wrong. I mean, you know, this is not a cut and dry kind of conversation.
It's
like
hot button.
The question has layers.
Definitely.
But I mean, when you're talking about it just from the surface of it, you know, if you ask me, babe, can I, you know, is it okay if I get your text? There you go. Here's the information. Now we are gonna have the conversation. So why do you want that information? What's going on with what's going on?
Just wondering.
Right. Like, just trying to, you know,
just,
not that I have a problem because I gave it to you, right? There you go. Right. You got it.
It's in your hands.
But now I just want to know where did that come from?
Right,
you know,
right.
And so we do need to have that conversation. And also for those who may be questioning and wondering, if you have had bouts of infidelity in the past, you should be very quick to give up your information.
Yeah, that goes to what we talked about last
Don't you be the one take the stance of why you need my information, because you ain't trustworthy. That's why.
Yes.
I mean, so give it up. You know what I'm saying?
I see a comment, babe, that I really want Alex Williams. He says cell phones are often considered the family plan, quote unquote, and sharing passwords might be termed the X plan. So if you can explain that a little bit more, I would love to hear your viewpoint on that. And as it relates to your comment, babe, do we have this? We do have a scripture to share with them as it
Hold
relates
on.
to
What?
you, Alex Williams. Do you
Alex.
see him?
Alex. Okay,
There
where?
we
There
go.
it is.
He
Okay,
said cell
Alex.
phones are often considered the family plan,
Mm-hmm.
and sharing passwords might be termed the X plan. So,
I
Alex,
don't even know what that means. What is termed the X plan?
well, I don't know if he mean X as in your ex or it's no longer the plan. I don't know. So that's why I'm wanting him to like explain either in the chat or you can ask to come on in the living room. But and people who I don't know, people who are single,
your life is their entertainment.
people who never been married or what have you, you know, sometimes they can get irritated by like with married, like that's just too much. You could still be your own person and have your own identity. But when you think about the two becoming one, let's just go back to, know, that whole spiritual connotation and why we do what we do is that two becoming one. There's a lot of work that's being done in order to make last I checked, to fuse two things together, if you actually had two separate things, let's say two pieces of metal, you would have to put heat to that thing. It would have to melt and mold together. So it doesn't mean in this sense, in the spiritual sense, it's not like I am necessarily Jimmy and Jimmy is now Rachel, and I don't have my own thoughts in my own mind. But in that process of becoming one in mind and one in the direction that we're going and the goals that we have for ourselves, there are these little things that come up that if you are one and you don't have anything to hide, yeah, babe, here you go. But now let's talk about, now why do you need that? I'm just wondering, because it's kind of like a temperature check. Are we okay?
Right. Exactly.
Is everything okay? Oh, you just need that, because you're working on something for our bank account. Okay, no problem.
Okay.
But
and what if it is there was past infidelity? Okay, you just ensuring that I'm still on the up and up.
Right.
Okay, I'm still good with that.
Right. Because you are human.
And especially if I was the one that was wrong. You know what I'm saying? I was the violator in the past, so I'm still going to be okay with that. So before
wait, there's a question. They hot today, baby. I'm so sorry. JC had asked a question, possible related question. Should you change your phone number prior to getting married? That sounds like a personal decision each person has to make.
Well, listen. If you've been living your best life, so to speak, prior to getting married, yeah, you might want to go and change that information. Because if you've had all kind of people calling you prior to you getting into this serious relationship, and you don't know who may call you and who may send you a random text,
or pictures,
yes, you may want to change your information. That'll avoid all kind of future headaches.
Because guess what? I'm about to say something and just drop the mic and walk away.
I bet you won't walk away.
You bet. It's too much stuff. Y'all can't even see it all. And my dog is on my foot. Oh my goodness. Y'all, Christians send those pics too. They sex too. Sexting.
Oh really?
They do that too.
Christians do that too.
Well, people who call themselves Christians. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, people do things.
I mean, you talking about Christian husbands and wives, or
all I'm saying is I'm actually, I mean, they do that too. To each his own.
Somebody said wisdom.
To each his own. However, I was referring to the comment that you made when you said when JC was like, should you get a new number?
Gotcha.
Well, guess what? You might need to, because maybe you had some very interesting, spicy dealings before this individual and before you got married. So,
So pretty much you need to get a clean slate started.
Yeah, person A, person A, B, C at any given time
could
drop a nude.
Right. Could drop a nude, could drop
and
a very spicy text out of the blue.
And instead of deleting the nude, you like, because men are very visual. You look at that thing, wife pick it up. Hold up. Why you got this nude?
Hey.
Well, I ain't had nothing to do with that. She sent that to me.
Baby, look.
Put them hands down. You had everything to do with it.
Look.
Because you could have taken them same hands and deleted it. Or
I was about to delete it.
I bet. Or it could be a text that says, I'm a married man. I would appreciate if you respect my wife.
And that's what you should do.
And don't send me these texts
Respect
anymore.
my marriage.
I told you I I was serious back when we was,
well,
you
maybe.
was that side piece
And
before
listen,
I got serious.
and this is why I said change the number, because it may be a situation where you and this person have not been in communication lately. You know what I'm saying? And they randomly send you a message. Hey, what's going on? I hadn't talked to you in a while. Yada yada yada. Okay, so you need a fresh start. You might want to go and change your number.
That's a booty call, Netflix, and chill.
That's why I said if you've been living your best life prior to marriage, you don't know who might call you. Changing your number and your stuff may be a good move. And then, after that, you now can control who has access to that number.
That's true.
Who's calling you.
Especially, and that's why I said when I responded, you got to know your situation. If you know that could happen at any given time. And let's be honest, marriage is it's work enough, as you move through that journey to where you don't wanna introduce anything extra that you wasn't even really entertaining,
right?
And it ends up becoming an issue,
right.
But Dion said, are y'all sharing your Facebook passwords? Can you put that up? I think it's interesting. Your Facebook password, or deleting your Facebook and just making one when you become married. I have a friend who neither of them have social media, and to this moment, I don't know Jimmy's Facebook password. But knowing Jimmy is probably one of the other passwords, because everybody got like maybe 2 or 3 that you recycle.
The one you got is my password to everything.
So I don't even know it's the one.
Right.
But neither am I trying to get in it. So at the end of the day, I do believe a lot of these questions fall back on that trust and maintaining it, because I think you kind of hit on it. You could be in a marriage and everything has been great. Y'all been trusting one another, but marriages got to have those temperature checks. Things happen, emotions, there could be a connection that took place at work that wasn't there before. And now all of a sudden, whoa, wait a minute now. What's trying to creep in this?
Right.
You have to protect the boundaries of your marriage, even if that means checking your spouse when they let their guard down. So I do think that's important.
Well, guys, look, I just want to say this. This has been a great subject. And as usual, you all have come in like champions with your comments. And even with the statements you've made, we truly do appreciate it. And what we've tried to do is give you our best responses based on biblical principles and practical application. But I do want to share some scriptures that I would love for you all to kind of just take them and read them and listen to what these says about wisdom as it relates to our relationships. The first one I want you all to look at is let me go back and get rid of this one here. Let's see here. It's Proverbs 13:20. It says, walk with the wise and become wise, for a champion of fools suffer.
For a companion of fools.
I'm sorry. A companion of fools suffers. So in other words, what this is simply saying is surround yourself by wise people. And the Bible also tells us, not to lean to our own understanding. Sometimes our feelings can cause us a lot of trouble and turmoil. Reach out to somebody else who may be married and wise in your mind that can give you some good advice on any of these questions that we brought up today. I think sometimes we struggle in life unwarrantedly when we could have very well just asked somebody with wisdom and avoided a whole bunch of headaches.
True.
Another verse that I would love for you guys to just chew on it a little bit. James 4:1. It said, what causes fights and quarrels among you? Don't they come from your desires that battle within you? In other words, what this is saying is, when we think about the stuff that has brought us problems in our relationships, they came from some internal desires, stuff we didn't want to let go, stuff we could have easily just let go of. But because it was our strong desire, we kept down that same path. And now we're dealing with consequences of things that we could have avoided.
Baby, can I say something here? Because that right there is so deep. The desires and the things that are within you. Because I this was years ago, probably well over 10 years ago. I heard a psychologist say this on this show that I watch, and I would watch it religiously. And when he said it at first, I didn't believe it. But then I had to think about it, and it's connected to this scripture. Marriage is about repairing the 90% of the things that went wrong in your childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I was like, he was like, because we think that marriage is, it's always about the love and the warm fuzzies. And that part is necessary, the love. But what he was saying was, there are so many things, whether it be traumatic things that we've experienced, and not even just in childhood, but even up until the point that you are meeting someone new.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be aware of the internal struggles that we have, because some people, dare I say, have the struggles and don't even realize it because they're ignoring it and they don't want to look within.
Right.
So
I
it's
agree
no
with you.
wonder the battle is taking place within us.
Okay. And I have two more scriptures I want you guys to chew on. Remember, the first one was Proverbs 13:20. Please take some time and read it. I love the book of Proverbs. It is the book of wisdom. That is actually my favorite book in the Bible, because
I didn't know that.
it is packed full of wisdom, and I love that. The second verse was James 4:1.
Oh.
And then the next one I want you guys to look at, it says 1 Thessalonians 5:22. If we implement this in most of the situations that we're dealing in,
question that we
listen, abstain from all appearances of evil.
Not some.
All of them. So if it looks like it may cause a problem, you know what? Let me go and stay away from that, because I don't want my significant other to feel I'm up to no good. You know what I mean? So these are some scriptures that you could actually use to help govern you. These are the measuring sticks by that can help you make the right decision along the way. And this is the last one. And guys, we're going to leave you all. 1 Corinthians 13:11. It says, when I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man or woman, I put away childish things. We have to realize that in this union called marriage or relationships, we can no longer have childish mentalities. We have to grow up. We have to mature. We have to see things outside of our own viewpoint. Sometimes our viewpoints are very negative. Sometimes they are, I'm sorry, not negative, but narrow. And sometimes they are selfishly motivated.
Right.
And until we can expound beyond what we think, how we feel, to see how the rest of the world lives and thinks and feels, then we can cultivate the relationships that we want.
And I think, and let me just add to the whole part about being mature. The hardest thing I think in a relationship is we default to childishness or immaturity because at the time it just feels good.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel like the other person is getting the best of you.
Right.
Which is why I feel like this journey in marriage, you really do have to learn to become one. Because as you become one, it doesn't mean conflict won't arise, but you have a common goal. And if your common goal is to have peace and to have a life that can be pleasing to God, then when you do get in those situations, people joke about what Michelle Obama says, when they go low, you go high. Baby, when you go low, I gotta go high.
I was wondering when you was gonna try to throw me.
No, that was legit.
Okay.
That was no under the bus. When you go low, as hard as it is, I want to come sucker punch you with the left uppercut. However, I have to go high. Not high because it comes within me, but high because I got to tap in to my relationship with God. And sometimes sometimes with him, I just sit there and close my eyes and I just pray. I was like, Lord, right now, I need you right now. I need you to come and speak for me on my behalf.
Well, guys, again,
y'all saw what he just did? Baby, I just caught that. You just segued real quick with the music.
Baby, I was just giving you a little background.
Yeah,
your voice sounded real sexy with that knowledge you was hitting out right there.
Y'all see what I'm dealing with? Y'all just pray for me, okay?
Like my goodness. I really thought I was doing something good, and you took that the wrong way.
You should have started that at the beginning. But he is my ministry, and I will make it to the kingdom.
Well, look, let me just say this, guys. Thank you all again for joining us on this 4th episode of Real Marriage, Real Talk. And we do appreciate you all for just all of your input.
Yes,
for those of you who we didn't get a chance to bring your comment up here, we will go back later and comment on it.
Yeah, and I'm so thankful for those of you who was like, let me in. I want to come on in the room.
Yes, we do appreciate that. Also, we just want to inform you guys, next Sunday, we will not be on the air because we're celebrating our
anniversary.
Year anniversary.
But you know what, babe? I just thought about something.
What's that?
While we're sitting out there, perhaps on the beach or walking,
we can still go live.
We can go live with the people just to, at 6, y'all give us some hearts if you would love for us while we are on our vacation. And we will practice social distancing. We will from others. Of course, it's not going to be from one another. Right. But like when we do go on the beach, we're going to make sure that people, stay away. We might need to put up some police tape or something. I think I got some in my classroom.
Girl, you crazy.
For real. For real. But no. But y'all let us know if y'all want us to go live while we were on. Because to be honest with you, that's what this thing is all about.
Okay.
We come here every Sunday. And we, and it's Father's Day. Yes. We come here every Sunday and we're in the living room. But we can take these people beyond these 4 walls. And that's just us, day-to-day life, trying to love on each other and trying to celebrate one another and the bond that we made and committed before God and man 8 years ago.
All right. Well, I love the way you just closed that out. Well, guys, look, thank you again for joining us. And until next week on the beach. Peace.
Y'all have a good one. Hey, thank you for the